Hello everyone, my name is CMA. Welcome back to CMA modules. Today we will be recording a video lecture on topic known as activity-based cost management. Herein we will be recording numerical problems of the chapter. We have already recorded one lecture in which we completed sum number 1 and sum number 2. In this lecture we will be targeting sum number 3 and sum number 4. A company produces 4 products, namely P, Q, R and S. The data relating to production activity are as under. So you have P, Q, R and S. You have quantity of production 4,500, 13,640, 2,340. So each product you have quantity of production given. You have material cost per unit. See, this is in rupees. They have given you kharcha, ek unit ka kharcha. They have given you cost of 1 unit. Direct labor hours per unit. So to prepare 1 unit, I require 2 hours of product, 2 hours of labor for product P. That way they have given for product Q, R and S. Machine hours which are required. So companies using labor and machine both to prepare its products. Direct labor cost. So 8 rupees, 9 rupees, 27 rupees cost is given. Production overheads are as under. Overheads applicable to machine oriented activity. So they have given you total overheads 1,65,900. They have given you overheads relating to ordering material 8,760. Setup cost 21,400. Administration overheads for spare parts 44,690. Material handling cost 25,545. So these are my overhead cost. Okay, overhead cost. Now what I'll do here, I'll go for computation of cost driver rate first. Okay, and then they have given me further information is given. They are asking us to find out cost driver rate first, and then using the concept of activity based costing, compute factory cost per unit. Okay, so we are supposed to prepare cost sheet. So what I'll do here is I will prepare cost driver rate first. Okay, I'll work for cost driver rate first. So computation, let me draft it. Computation of cost driver rates. I'm answering first question number A. See, wherein they are asking me select a suitable cost driver for each item of overhead expenses and calculate cost per unit of cost driver. So I'm supposed to calculate cost driver first. So first cost driver rates. So first one will be machine oriented activity. If you see, first overhead given to me is machine oriented. Okay, machine oriented activity. Okay, machine oriented activity. So now what I'll do here, I will take my total cost. So what is my total cost related to machine oriented activity? Okay, so total cost is 1,65,900. Now what I'm supposed to do here, I'm supposed to take total machine hours. I'm supposed to take total machine hours. So I have number of units and I have number of, see, number of units are given and number of hours are given. So 4,500 into 1.5 into 1.5. Okay, 4,500 into 1.5. Then we have 13,640 into 0.75. Okay, into 0.75. Then we have 2,340 into 2.50. Then we have 18,350 into 4 hours. So I calculated my total machine hours. I calculated my total machine hours. Okay, 96,230 hours I have. Now what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to find out my cost driver rates. Okay, I'm supposed to find out my cost driver rates. So how to do that? So total cost divided by total machine hours. Okay, so here we have 1,65,900 divided by 96,230. Okay, so if we do this 1,65,900 divided by 96,230, we get 1.72. Okay, 1.72 hour per hour. Okay, 1.72 rupees. This is 1.72 rupees per hour. So if I check overhead rate, cost driver rate for machine oriented activity is rupees 1.74 okay per hour. Okay, now let me go for next one. So next one is related to overheads relating to material order. Okay, overheads relating to material order. Okay, ordering material. Now what is your total cost? Total cost for material order is how much? 8760. Okay, now number of material orders. So what you are supposed to do, if it is machine oriented activity, so total cost is given to you. टोटल टाइम निकालो, डिवाइड करते हो, कॉस्ट ड्राइवर रेट आ जाएगा. यहाँ पे टोटल मटेरियल ऑर्डर कॉस्ट इज गिवन टू यू. फाइंड आउट नंबर ऑफ मटेरियल ऑर्डर्स. सी दे हैव गिवन यू एक्स्ट्रा इन्फॉर्मेशन, नंबर ऑफ मटेरियल ऑर्डर्स. सो टोटल नंबर ऑफ मटेरियल ऑर्डर्स, आई विल राइट टोटल हियर. Total number of material orders is 30. Okay, total number of material orders is 30. This is 8760. This is 30. So now what I'll do to find out cost driver rate, I'll divide 8760 by 30. I'll get 292 rupees. Okay, 292 rupees. So this is in rupees. 8760 is rupees. 30 is order, and again this is in rupees, 292. So this part is done. Now let me go for C1. What is C? Now next one is setup cost. Okay, next one is setup cost. So what is setup cost? So total setup cost is how much? 21,400. Now total number of setups. So how many total number of setups you have? Here they have mentioned 50. So setup cost, okay, per cost driver will be, I'll write cost driver only to avoid confusion. Cost driver rate will be 21,400 divided by 50, 428 rupees. Then we have D. D is how much? D is what? Administration overheads. Okay, admin overheads. Admin overheads is how much? 44,690. Now what is total? Now for administration, what you will consider? Number of spare parts. I'll consider. So number of spare parts is how much? 36. Now what I'll have to do? I'll have to find out cost driver rate. So how to find out cost driver rate? 44,690 divided by 36. So that is cost driver rate. Okay. Then you have material handling cost. So what is material handling cost? 25,545. That is my total cost. Okay, that is my total cost. Now number of material order they have given you. Okay, number of material order. So that you will take, okay, as your as your spare part. No, number of times material handling. No, so number of times material handled. Number of times material handled, that is 81. So what will be your cost driver rate? Your cost driver rate will be 25,545 divided by 81. Okay, so 315.74 is your cost driver rate. Now what you are supposed to do? You completed your first question. Now what is your second question? Using concept of activity based costing, compute factory cost. Okay, you have to prepare factory cost. So here one more thing I am supposed to do. I am supposed to prepare computation or else statement showing factory cost. Okay, so I'll note down my activities here, then my product P, Q, R and S, my products. Okay, so I'm done with my products. Now I'll note down one by one. So my number of units. First thing what I'll note down is my number of units. So how many units they have mentioned here? If I tell you, they have given me 4,500, 13,640, 4,500, 13,640. Then what next? RNS 2340, 18,340, 2340, 18,350. So these are my number of units. After I complete my number of units, what I have next, I'll start writing activity wise. Okay, I'll start writing activity wise. So machine oriented activity. Okay, machine oriented activity. So you have how many hours for machine oriented activity? 6750 hours. So how you are getting 6750 hours? So 4500 into 1.5, you will get 6750 hours. Okay, 4,500 into 1.5, you'll get 6750. So you multiply your hours here, you will get your hours with number of units, you will get your hours 5850, 5850, then 73,400. This much is done. Then you have total cost. Okay, so cost per unit they have given you. Matlab we calculated. So what we calculated here in from our working 1.724. So now what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to multiply. So for 1 hour it is 1.724. So for 6750 hours it will be how much? 1.724. 1.724. Okay. Same way, you will have to multiply 1.724. Okay, so you can complete doing this, you will get your cost. Now I want to find out, they're asking me one more question here. If you see, cost per unit also they are asking, factory cost per unit. So cost per unit, how to find out? This is your cost, right? 11,637 is your cost. So how to find out your cost per unit? So for finding out cost per unit, divide it by number of units. So I'll divide it by number of units. I'll get cost per unit. Okay, so this part is done. Done. Okay. What we are supposed to do, this machine oriented activity is done. Now let us go for next. Next is what? Next I'll take next is order, material order. Okay, so I'll take this cost relating to material order. Okay, next is relating to material order. So let me take relating to material order. Now how many orders? So here what we did, first we noted down our cost. So here also I'll note down my number of orders first. Okay, I'll note down my number of orders first. So number of orders I'll note it from here. Okay, I'll note it down from here. So 3, 12, 3, 12. Okay, now what I'll do, number of orders done, 312, 312. Now what I'm supposed to do, I'll note down my cost. Okay, total cost at the rate of 292. No, 292. Remember we calculated your cost driver rate. So take your cost driver rate and multiply with your number of orders. Okay, if you do this, you'll get your total cost. Now you are supposed to find out cost per unit. So how to find out cost per unit? You take your cost, this is your 876, divided by number of units. You will get your cost per unit. Done. Okay, now you go for third activity. Third activity is your setup cost. Third activity is your setup cost. Note down your number of setups. Okay, after noting down your number of setups, how many setups you have? You have 3, 18, 5, 24. So you note down your number of setups. After noting down your number of setups, what you are supposed to do? You write down your setup cost. Okay, so what is your setup cost? If you see here, cost driver rate, they have mentioned 428. So you take 428 total setup cost at the rate of 428. So you multiply into 428. So number of setups into 428. Okay, so you will get setup cost. Now you divide your setup cost with unit, so you'll get cost per unit. Okay, so you have total cost divided by units. Okay, so you will have cost per unit. So this part is done. Then you have D, setup cost is done. Now next one is related to admin. Okay, admin cost. So here you note down your number of spare parts. Okay, so number of spare parts are how much? 6, 15, 3, 12. Okay, number of spare parts. So after noting down your number of spare parts, you have cost driver rate. So cost driver rate is at the rate of rupee 1241. So 1241 into 6, 1241 into number of spare parts, you will get your now total cost for spare parts. Now you go for cost per unit. Cost per unit is admin cost done. Now you have to go for last one, that is material handling cost. Material handling cost. So what is material handling cost? Material handling cost, write down number of material handled. So number of material handled is how much? They must have given you number of 639 and 36. Now you have number of materials order is done. Now you find out your total cost. So total cost is, you multiply your total cost. What is the material handling cost? Cost driver rate, it is 315. Okay, so this into rupee 315. So multiply this into 315. Okay, you will get your cost. Now you go for cost per unit. Cost per unit, divide this by number of units. Okay, done. So cost per unit is done. So now what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to go for total cost. You total it up. So total up all your overheads. So where is your overheads? This one, then this one, then this one, then this one. So 21,000 1892. Then here it is I've taken everything, which I have not taken setup cost. 23,138. Okay, so I got my total cost. This is my total overheads. Now total cost per unit. So I will again add my cost per unit. Okay, all cost per unit I will add. So I'm done with my cost per unit also. Now I'm supposed to prepare cost sheet. So these two parts are ready. Now let us prepare our cost sheet. Let me prepare it over here. Cost sheet. So what is cost sheet? So it will be this way. Particulars P, Q, R and S. So you have cost sheet. Okay, now you will go for cost wise. You have material, you have labor. If you see, material and labor cost is given to you in the question itself, 12, 15 per unit, labor also per unit. So note down as it is. Most of the time per unit labor and material cost will be given to you in the question itself. Okay, 25 and 21, I'm referring question for this. Labor is 8, 9, 27 and 25. So this part is done. You have total cost. Okay, so total cost means this is your prime cost. So if you add this, you get your prime cost. So this part is done. Now what you will do is you go for your overheads. Okay, so overheads is, you will take one by one, you will take all your overheads activity. So this is machine oriented activity. Then you have material ordering activity. Okay, then you have setup cost, then you have admin cost, then you have material handling cost. Okay, material handling cost. So now what you will do is, you one by one you will take your per unit. Okay, so per unit you have from your 2.586. So this way you will take it from your table which you have prepared, 1.293, 1.293. Then next one is 4.310. Next one is 6.896. Okay, then you have material 0.195, then you have 0.257, then you have 0.374, then you have 0.191, then you have 0.285, then you have 0.565, then you have 0.915, then you have 0.560. Okay, here you have 1.655, then you have 1.365, then you have 0.560, then you have 0.812. I'm taking from the table which we prepared just now. Then you have 0.420, then you have 0.694, then you have 1.213, then you have 0.619. Okay, so we noted down all our material cost. So this is our total. Okay, total overhead cost, material cost as in total overhead cost. So I will add this to my prime cost. Okay, this is my, I'll add this to my prime cost, 20 plus this. Okay, so I'll get my factory cost per unit. Okay, I hope clear till here. This is my total cost. Done. So 25.14, 28.17, 60, 59.37, and then you have 55.08. Okay, so this is your cost sheet. Please complete this sum. I'll go for other video lecture in which I'll be covering sum number 4. Thank you.